member of the British cabinet to vote against the Balfour Declaration and speak against it was the only Jewish member, Sir Edwin Montagu, who said he regarded himself as British, didn't want to be told that his proper place was in the Middle East. I've spent some intensely enjoyable evenings with the Naturai Kata Satmara sect and its rabbis, who have the best arguments I've yet heard for the age of the earth being 4,300 years, and who refuse to serve, not just refuse to serve in the Israeli army, but really believe that Zionism is a blasphemy against the Torah and an anticipation of the Messiah and should be destroyed, and only recognize Palestinian negotiators in the matter. There's a very long tradition of that kind of primitive religious anti-Zionism among Jews also. And there were, per contra, there were some anti-Semites, Sir Oswald Mosley was one of them, who were quite keen on Zionism because they thought, I don't care where the Jews go as long as they go. But they would have preferred Madagascar. Sir Oswald Mosley's very nasty wife, who I had a quarrel with once in print, was very vicious about this. Said they can go anywhere they like, but they're too good for Jerusalem. But maybe Madagascar. At any rate, that's Zionism of a kind, you might say. That tendency, I may say, seems to have died out. Pretty much now, any anti-Semite is also an anti-Zionist. That much is true. But there were, and there still is, another tradition of the secular left, the Jewish Marxist tendency, which was one of the great flourishings of the 20th century, that warned, Avraham Leon was one of them in Belgium, who later died in Auschwitz, that the project necessitated a quarrel with the Palestinian Arabs because of the land. And Avraham Leon said it wouldn't matter to the Arab peasant in Palestine whether the occupiers were Belgian, or English, or Turkish, or Egyptian. They would resist any attempt to take over their land. That their propaganda is sometimes anti-Jewish is, you might say, a second-order consideration. Some of you may have read Avishai Margalit, Isaiah Berlin's great disciple, who says, I can't do his accent, I wish I could, he's a brilliant guy, he lives in Jerusalem, is a Zionist. But he says, the project is to turn the Jew from being the Luftmensch, the weightless man, the watchmaker in Budapest, into a sturdy farmer and soldier in Palestine. Well, whether that project's a good one or not, it necessitates, as he emphasized, it necessitates a quarrel over the ownership of that land. A quarrel that will go on for generations. The theft of land, the annexation of land will not be forgiven, whether it's by Jew or anyone else. And he says, some people, I'll try his voice, there are some who say that this is the Zionist original sin. In this I do not believe, says Avishai. I say rather, it is the immaculate misconception. So may the day never come when there are not anti-Zionist Jews. And may the day never come when it can't be said of a criticism leveled at the Israeli state that it can only be motivated by the filthy prejudice that I'm here to talk about. Okay, is questioning the Holocaust anti-Semitic? You see, I'm going to play for high stakes here. Not necessarily. Yes, if it denies that there was a plan, that there was a design, that there was a fully evolved intention traceable to the first publication of Mein Kampf for the erasure of European Jewry. To deny that is certainly to exhibit toxic anti-Semitism. But there are many, many arguments about the numbers, about the locations. Yad Vashem, for example, the Holocaust Museum in Jerusalem, says 4.5 million. Most people say 6. Good for Yad Vashem for going on the low side. When we've dug up all the graves, because they haven't all been found yet, in Belarus, in parts of Yugoslavia recently, some were found, and elsewhere, the figure may be much larger than we can bear to think. But it's a responsibility. We have to act as if everyone who perished in that was a precious person. It's a responsibility not to reduce it to propaganda, to be prepared to debate on it with people who say, well, it's not true, it isn't true, that Jews were ever made into soap. Obviously, the Nazis were going to wash their hands in Jew. It's a fabrication by Stalin's anti-fascist Jewish committee. We should drop it. And we should admit that there's propaganda involved here. Like the Armenian people who regularly debate with Turkish historians who deny what happened to their people. They show great dignity. They come back again with their historians to the fray. They say, no, we will have this out. We will not have this fetishized or propagandized. We have a duty to historical truth. So I don't believe that there should be any censorship or any intimidation of anyone, revisionist or even denier, who wants to bring forward any evidence. What do we think we lack? The confidence to win this argument? No, we can't have that said. So, I'm glad I've got that bit behind me, actually, I must say. But I feel it has to be uttered. Is there a left anti-Semitism, as there used not to be? Anti-Semitism was so much the weapon of the right and of counter-revolution. Lenin said himself, anti-Semitism is counter-revolution. That you would never have thought, or I would not have expected to see the day, when on supposedly liberal websites available in California, there would be stories about Israel stealing body parts for the market. That's almost a precise replication of the Passover plot. I didn't expect to see that. I didn't expect to see in my home country leading leftist members of parliament and activists making common cause with the Muslim Brotherhood, with Islamic Jihad, with the people who publish the protocols. I would have thought it was unthinkable, but it's not. And given the immense contribution that the Jewish people have made to the liberal left in every society, this seems to me almost the most painful of the insults that this prejudice is currently hurling against us. I take it, shall I say, a bit more personally than some of the others. I'm used to it from Mosley. I don't care. I don't care about it from Jean-Marie Le Pen. I expect it from him. I hate its spread on campus and on the left, and it really needs to be fought without pity, wherever it shows itself there. Can an anti-Semite make a true statement? Sometimes. The Reverend Bailey Smith, Jerry Falwell's sidekick, once said, "Almighty God doesn't hear the prayers of a Jew." As far as my investigations go, that statement is confirmed. I think it's the only one I've been able to find that is anti-Jewish in intention but factually true in statement. Can anti-Semitism be amusing? To a limited extent, but an indispensable extent, yes. You perhaps know the story of Abe and Solomon walking along together, and they see a church with a big sign that says, Jews for Jesus. $1,000 to any Jew who converts, who joins. And Abe takes a look and he says, I'm going to go in, I'm going to try it. Solomon says, should I wait for you? He said, yeah, if you like. About an hour passes, Abe comes out. Solomon says, so? Abe said, no, I'm a Christian now. I see that point. I'm with Jesus. I'm saved. And Solomon says, well, what, did they give you the $1,000 up front? And Abe says, is that all you people ever think about? So it can be funny. Can you suffer from anti-Semitism mildly? That's my question to Mel Gibson. With most people, it's impossible to have it a little bit. It takes over everything else. It sucks out all the oxygen in what's left of your brain and your system, and it becomes dominant. Can it be mild? As a matter of fact, I think it can. I mean, I've known two people of whom I think this is true. My beloved friend Martin Amis wrote very amusingly about his father Kingsley, who in late life became a bit of a curmudgeon. And he said to his dad once, Dad, what is this? What's it like being a mild anti-Semite? And his father said, oh, it's all right. He said, it's when I'm watching the credits at the end of a film and I think, oh, there goes another one. And another one. Well, I can just assure you, the old man, he became a bit of a bore towards the end of his life. He wouldn't hurt a fly. He certainly wouldn't hurt a Jew or have it done. So in some way, I think I'm being optimistic. It is a prejudice that can be domesticated, if you like, brought under control, repressed a bit. My ex-friend, Gore Vidal, once got a bad review in the New Republic for his novel Lincoln. And the reviewer was Thomas Keneally, who I don't need to tell you about, the author of Schindler's List. And it wasn't as good a review as Gore thought he should have got. Or, as a matter of fact, as good a review as I would have given it. I think Lincoln is a wonderful novel. But Thomas Keneally got a letter from Gore Vidal saying, I see that the Jews cast around for someone who was reliably anti-me and made sure that the ancient tribe was vindicated in your poor notice of my novel. Keneally has the letter. Terribly depressing. I mean, so petty, so cheap.